Leisure Pro presents its fresh new website. We have made it easier to shop for the products you want with our all-new product categories and navigation. Shop our weekly specials on our totally revamped product pages. Chat with our experts and read product reviews to make sure the product you want is the product you're looking for. The only thing that hasn't changed is our outstanding customer service. So shop the all-new LeisurePro.com with the best price match guarantee and get the products you want fast. Reef Safe, the official sun care product of ScubaNation, introduces the 2015 Reef Safe Mermaid Calendar. Start 2015 off right with a beautiful mermaid for each month of the year. The Reef Safe Mermaid Calendar features 24 stunning pages of mermaids and high-gloss UV coating. For each calendar sold, $1 will be donated to the Moat Marine Laboratory, so celebrate the beauty of the mermaids while helping to protect our oceans. Order yours today.
Sea Life's Flex Connect Universal Mounting System is the fastest and easiest way to add underwater lighting and accessories to your dive cameras. Setups range from feature pack to ultra compact and everything in between. Grips, flex arms, trays, light heads, and more connect instantly with a click and disassemble with just the push of a button. Quickly adjust your diving environment by adding and removing lights and accessories with ease, on land or underwater. Head to your favorite dive dealer and ask for Flex Connect from Sea Life.
ScubaNation Apparel.
Bye, Uzi!
Available at ScubaNation.com. This edition of ScubaNation is brought to you by Sea Dog and Shipyard Ales, the official beer of ScubaNation. The Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. Sea Life Underwater Cameras. Maris, the official equipment provider for ScubaNation.
This time on ScubaNation.
We're paying homage to the History of Diving Museum in Islamorada, Florida. This place is a must-see while traveling in the Florida Keys. We also used the same helmet the legendary Art McKee wore as he introduced recreational scuba diving to the masses right here in the fabulous Florida Keys. So we're kicking it old school, this time on ScubaNation.
Who is ScubaNation? Billy C., Boston born and raised.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Hey! Billy C. would dive a puddle if it was deep enough.
Bitch and Mitch, Southern boy.
Diving's like pizza. When it's good, it's great, and when it's bad, it's still good.
Two ordinary guys with a thirst for getting wet and exploring all things scuba. We are ScubaNation. One nation underwater.
Presented by Leisure Pro.
Welcome, ScubaNation. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Billy C.
You know, the Florida Keys is rich in diving history, and if you're ever down here in Islamorada, you want to visit the History of Diving Museum. It's spectacular.
You know, we've been up and down the Florida Keys 1,000 times, and we always drove by. Big mistake. We finally walked through this History of Diving Museum, and we were wowed. What a spectacular place. We are going to take a journey through diving history and how recreational scuba diving started here right in the Florida Keys.
That's right. We're going to kick it a little old school and visiting the History of Diving Museum this time on ScubaNation. So I don't know how many times old Billy C and I did trucking it up and down the Florida Keys. And when you get to about mile marker 83 in Islamorada, there she was on the right-hand side, the History of Diving Museum. And here's Billy and I. We're avid divers, and we've never stopped here before. So we finally paid this place a visit. And let me tell you, folks, I was wowed the moment I got into the gift shop. I mean, they had this nice look of Jake sitting there, so you got some photo opportunities. So I was thinking, Santa Jake, I'd like a new BC. Let's go with the new dive computer and all expense paid vacation to Key West. You've got the old Miller Dunn helmet you can put over your head for another photo opportunity. The door to the museum looks like somehow 20,000 leagues under the sea. I mean, and we weren't even in the museum yet. Underwear donated by Mitch of ScubaNation. Ah, that's where I left them.
An underwater contraption fit for a king. Dr. Edmund Halley, he was an astronomer. He would look up to the heavens and dream and figure out what comets were doing, but he also looked beneath the sea, and he invented this crazy diving bell. These were the first things that were submerged with the person in it, and this was the precursor to the diving helmet.
I'm Nemo. I'm Dory. Hey, how you doing?
Now, Art McKee, what an interesting individual this guy is. He was a treasure hunter, and man, I loved his getup. He had these short black shorts. He wore Chuck Taylors, the Converse high tops, black of course, and he was just that wild, swashbuckling fool that would just go ahead and dive into the ocean back in the 30s and 40s when it was still a mystery. The ocean was still such a mystery until these helmets came available and started the recreational revolution for scuba diving. And that happened right here in the Florida Keys. Hey, so part of this diving history museum, we checked out the San Pedro wreck. This was sunk back in the 1700s, and it would be typical of one of the Spanish galleons that Art McKee would go look for with his helmet on.
Pretty close to Alligator Reef, you still have a bunch of relics left over from the wreck. I'm talking about ballast stones, I'm talking about anchors, I'm talking about cannons. It's all still down there. The wreck is relatively shallow too. It's only about 15 feet deep. So the snorkelers can enjoy it and have a great time. I really enjoyed the wreck.
And this was a wreck that Art McKee would have been looking for and found Spanish bullion, real eights, silver bars. You know, this was Spanish galleons that were going from Cuba to Spain. In the 1700s, there was multiple hurricanes, multiple shipwrecks, and Art McKee was that guy to put on that helmet and go down to look for it. And he found his own mother lode.
There's a lot of life on this wreck. There's a lot of fish on this wreck. Got to see a little puppy nurse shark that was so cute. I just want to hold it. Go.
And what's great about the San Pedro wreck is the ballast stones are still there from the 1700s. There's cannons down there and also the anchor of the ship. So, you know, this whole experience is about history and diving back into that history. And here we are back into the 40s in Islamorada looking at ships that sunk back in the 1700s using equipment from the 40s and really getting a taste of that experience. And we did it here in the fabulous Florida Keys, and what an experience it was. I'm blown away. It's such a great feeling to get to use a piece of history in our modern day of diving. Folks, if you are traveling up and down the Florida Keys, please make a stop in Islamorada at the History of Diving Museum. I promise you, Billy C makes 100% promise that you will be wowed.
More from the History of Diving Museum coming up next.
This may just be the most curious place on Earth. Discover Curacao, an island in the Southern Caribbean that offers explorers a Dutch Caribbean history, captivating cultures, uncrowded beaches, spectacular diving, and so much more. This is Curacao.
Born in Maine, created by Alan Pugsley, world-class craft brewer. Sea Dog, now sailing in Florida. and available in cans. Sea Dog is award-winning, a perfect fit for our Florida lifestyle. Visit our brew houses in Clearwater and Orlando.
This summer, experience the UNEXO and the Dolphin Experience, located in beautiful Grand Bahama, which is a quick trip by either plane or ferry from South Florida. UNEXO at Grand Lacayan offers the ultimate vacation for families with something for everyone. Snorkel our beautiful reefs, get wet with the dolphins by being a dolphin training for a day, to the unforgettable open water dolphin diving. The experienced diver will be exhilarated by our UNEXO pioneered shark dives. UNEXO, along with Grand Lacayan Resort, is the place for a lifetime of vacation memories for the whole family.
Dive the Atocha with Mel Fisher's expedition in Key West. Be a treasure hunter and dive the active wreck site of the richest Spanish galleon ever discovered. Mel Fisher and his crew discovered the Mother Lode in 1985. Today, the search continues for the remaining hundreds of millions of dollars in cargo. The Fisher family now invites you to learn proper salvage techniques from the world's greatest treasure hunters. Join us for the adventure of a lifetime. Today's the day.
This edition of Scuba Nation is brought to you by Sundowners, Sunset Sandwiches, Steak and Seafood. Light in Motion, find the perfect light for any activity. UNEXO, dive with the best in Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Today I've got something super special for you. It's yellowtail snapper. We have our yellowtail snapper. All we're going to do is going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. I like to put salt and pepper kind of on both sides. From here, right on into the flour. Right? Regular all-purpose flour, no problem at all. Right? Coat that kind of nicely. Egg wash, just a little bit of eggs, maybe a little bit of milk. And press that right into your onion mixture with the Japanese breadcrumbs. Be a little aggressive with it, right? You want to coat it real nice and good. Right, just like that. From there, right into a pan. I've already put a little bit of olive oil. I want the pan to be nice and hot. When I go to put this in, right on in there, you should hear just a little bit of sizzle. Right. Cook that about 2 to 3 minutes aside, or until it's nice, white, and flaky throughout. And this is what you're going to get. Fresh yellowtail, encrusted with fresh fried onions, little key lime on the side. In order to finish the dish, I'm just going to go ahead and take my mangoes, right on my salsa, and just put that right on there. Now, if you want, you can also heat the salsa up with a little bit of butter, right? But I like mine nice and fresh. It gives it a great, crisp, fresh taste. Right? Some key lime butter. One of the great things about living in the Florida Keys is we have key limes. We have trees growing right here on the property. We go ahead and cut those key limes up, juice them, add them to a little bit of clarified butter, a little bit of wine, and then finish it off with a little bit of whole butter. You get this nice key lime butter sauce, and I just pour that right over the top. Just a little, doesn't take much. The great thing about key limes is they're super acidic, so it gives this dish that we have a lot of sweetness to a nice acid punch that just goes so well with the fish. Oh, you gotta get the perfect bite right there. So good. Wow, that is real food from the Florida Keys. Wow, amazing.
So even if you're not an avid diver or never even dove before, you're going to love the History of Diving Museum, because it is loaded with nautical antiquities, actual treasure, Mark V helmets, and all kind of dive gear. The antiquities in this place will just blow your mind away.
My husband Joe and I were both physicians in Ohio in very high-stress medicine. Our escape was scuba diving. And one day, as scuba divers, we walked into an old junk store, really, and we saw a diving helmet. And that day, we caught an incurable disease. The collecting bug bit us. And eventually, we accumulated probably one of the biggest collections in the world. We started to wonder about the history of it. We published a book about the history of diving, and we realized a couple things, 20, 30 years of collecting, we realized this is a story that needed to be told. Well, what better place to do a museum about the history of diving than in the Florida Keys?
The museum is awesome. It's a venue for everyone, from small kids to the older generation that has been diving. A lot of times we get people who stop in who are already certified divers, and they assume that they know what they're going to see, and then they come in and they see the timeline that goes back 4,000 years, and they just have that wow factor.
I would like a large cheese pizza with pepperoni and mushrooms.
It's a world story, and I believe we do that really well as an international museum about the history of diving.
Welcome to the museum, and welcome to the Parade of Nations. I'm Dr. Joe Bauer, the founder of the museum, and I'd like to take you on a trip around the world of international diving helmets.
The museum is wonderful for people of all ages. For little kids, we have scavenger hunts. They can look around each exhibit and find something and check it off. And we also have little Lego divers hidden all throughout the exhibits. So we try to see how many you can count. And when you get up front, we'll let you know how close you are.
Now, for me personally, one of the best parts of the museum was the area designated to marine biology, and William Beebe, who was considered the modern father of marine biology. So that passion started so young with me, watching Jacques Cousteau and Sea Hunt. So to see the exhibit with William Beebe, the modern father of marine biology, that blew me away.
2 years ago, we opened this wonderful research library that you're standing in now. And the library, our oldest book goes back to 1535, the story of people going underwater.
They also have a section where they collected historical scuba toys. And in that section, I got to see something I haven't seen, my God, in 40 years. And it was the actual underwater G.I. Joe. It took me back big time.
Now, folks, you see this guy right here? This is the G.I. Joe that I had when I was a kid. It's got this little tube at the top. You've got the squid, you kick it, and of course some underwater treasure that you can find in the bathtub.
It's the vision of my husband and myself to create a museum so that everybody could see this story of how we got to where we are as divers today. Come and pay us a visit. Don't drive by, drive in. And I promise you, you will be astonished.
Born in Maine. Created by Alan Pugsley, world-class craft brewer. Sea Dog, now sailing in Florida. And available in cans. Sea Dog is award-winning. A perfect fit for our Florida lifestyle. Visit our brew houses in Clearwater and Orlando.
If you're looking to go diving in South Florida, you need to call South Florida Diving Headquarters. They can accommodate large groups with their spacious 45-foot power cats to small private charters. They carry a complete dive shop with all your diving needs, including rental equipment. Water enthusiasts can enjoy other water sports from kayaking to the totally new phenomenon called flyboarding. So click or call South Florida Diving Headquarters and tell them the boys from ScubaNation sent you.
Hey honey, I'm on LeisurePro.com shopping for a new dive computer. I'm actually blogging with another diver that has the same one. Let me call you right back.
Have a question about a product? At LeisurePro.com, you can ask questions with other Leisure Pro customers about the products you want before you buy.
Sure.
Whoa!
We all know how important it is to have proper lighting on any dive or snorkel adventure. Lack of light can make images appear green and blue. Sure, you can add filters, you can attempt to edit later, but the best thing you can do for your images is add a powerful light. Sea Life makes the most popular underwater camera systems in the world. Recently, Sea Life introduced their powerful new Sea Dragon lights, designed for compact POV cameras like GoPro. Hey scuba divers, go to your favorite dealer and ask for the Sea Dragon lighting by Sea Life.
This edition of ScubaNation is brought to you by
Reef Safe biodegrades in oceans, non-toxic to sea life. Scuba Works, quality runs deep.
and Spare Air, there when you need it. If you want to dive in Broward County, South Florida Diving Headquarters is your dive charter to call. Launching out of beautiful Pompano, Florida, my buddy Jeff Terode offers more than just diving.
We're an adventure dive operation, but we're not just that. We have activities that appeal to everybody. We have snorkeling, we have diving, we have glass bottom tours. So there's something to do for the whole family when you come down there. Not just when you're diving, but after diving. We also have paddleboarding and kayaking to do afterwards. If you're an extreme sports type person, we have the latest and greatest thing out there. It's called the flyboard, which actually jets you in the air from the motorized jet ski for the adrenaline junkies in you. So when you come diving with us, it's not just diving, but the whole package. We're going to take care of you all day. We're going to take you on some great dives. If some of you are just going to snorkel, we can do that for you too. And then afterwards, we have all kind of other activities to keep you busy all day.
Welcome back. We're touring the History of Diving Museum in Islamorada.
And now, Mitch, we're at the South Florida room. And South Florida helmets really started the underwater revolution because these open bottom helmets from South Florida revolutionized diving. And they gave normal people like you and me sports diving with the Miller Dunn 1. They gave us marine biology with the Miller Dunn 2. And they gave us treasure hunting with the Miller Dunn 3.
And this is the one that Billy and I are going to be diving with tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's right. And you will dive into history with a helmet that hasn't been underwater for maybe 60, 70 years.
This helmet is really, and the forerunners to this helmet are kind of icons of the industry. Made by a company named Miller Dunn, Incorporated, out of Miami, Florida. And they started manufacturing diving helmets around 1916. Their diving helmets, the way they marketed them, really broke open the recreational diving in the Florida Keys and really all across America. A lot of people, especially recreational divers, don't realize that from 1916 to the late 40s, there was really no other way to get underwater except by the use of these shallow water helmets.
John gave us some classroom and pool time to get us ready for our open water dives with the Miller Dunn diving helmet. We talked about rope signals, flow control, and how to remove and don the helmet underwater.
This Style 3 Miller Dunn was the one used by Art McKee down here in the Keys. As the story goes, Art McKee may have, and this helmet may have been responsible for the first recreational diving certification anywhere in the country. He would take divers out and put them out on the reef, down on this helmet, just power it, getting air to them through the hand pump that we use today.
So, this is my air supply?
Yeah, Mitch, I pretty much have your life in my hands, because if I stop pumping, you get no air.
I need to call my agent.
I'm going to need a new co-host.
Upon successful completion of the dive, he would give them a certificate, Florida Keys Reef Diver.
Making Mr. Art McKee very proud. This will be my first time ever going diving in a pair of Converses. Let's go.
Mitch, you channeling your inner Art McKee?
Art McKee.
I like that.
Hey, feeling? Go. Okay, let's party.
It was a real treat to wear that Miller Dunn helmet, the same one you're seeing here, underneath the water. And for me, wearing that helmet underwater, it was like a time capsule. And you're walking on the bottom of the ocean instead of kicking. Totally different sensation. My head felt like it was in a submarine. I couldn't help but think about how this equipment introduced the underwater world for the first time for so many people. That wearing this equipment almost 60 years ago, this was the first time they've ever seen the underwater world from this vantage point. My God, they must have thought this was a different world right here on planet Earth. Yeah, so I wrapped up my open water dives with the Miller Dunn heavy dive equipment. I guess I can add that to my C card now.
Hey, I just want to say to the History of Diving Museum team, I am wowed by this place. We want to retire our OTS mask, our communications mask, as part of the history of diving.
Wow, thank you. So this is communication.
Yep.
Well, we have exactly the spot to display this.
Hey, Scuba Nation, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Do not bypass this history museum. You got to come in and see it, right?
Don't drive by, drive in.
All right, Scuba Nation, thanks for watching. One nation underwater.
A diving museum.
Sorry.
It was,
Searching fish behavior, primarily sex underwater. But that's a story for another day.
Take the Patriots -5 today at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a home dog, but so yeah. Oh, shoot. Just life depends on this. Oh, God. Work.
The Florida Keys are home to a protected 2,800 square mile national marine sanctuary, an abundance of wrecks, and over 6,000 different species. But whether you're a diver or a snorkeler, there's always room for one more.
This may just be the most curious place on Earth. Discover Curacao, an island in the Southern Caribbean that offers explorers a Dutch Caribbean history, captivating cultures, uncrowded beaches, spectacular diving, and so much more. This is Curacao.
Somebody's got a birthday coming up. What would you like, honey? A new tie?
I was thinking a little bit more like cool dive clothes.
Basketball ticket?
How about a cool hat?
A new car?
Now this is it.
That is nice. That's ScubaNation apparel.
Mayuzi!
Available at ScubaNation.com.